Imagine a town where the ground beneath your feet is literally on fire. Not a volcano, not a wildfire, just the earth breathing fire for decades. Welcome to Centralia, Pennsylvania, a place that once had over 1,000 people. Today, its population is 5. It wasn't a war, a plague, or a storm that destroyed this town. It was a fire they started by accident. And that fire has been burning for 60 years. Experts say it could burn for another 250. This is the story of a town that vanished from the map. This is Centralia. To understand how a town dies, you have to understand why it lived. Centralia was built on coal, the thick black anthracite that runs through the hills of Pennsylvania. For decades, the town thrived. A blue-collar paradise. The Odd Fellows Lodge, the firehouse, the movie theater. Main Street was the heart of a thriving community. Coal mining was everything. Men worked underground. Women raised families above. The town had its own schools, churches, bars, and a cemetery where generations were buried. But the very thing that gave Centralia life was also the sleeping giant beneath its feet, waiting for a spark. On Memorial Day, May 27, 1962, the town council decided to clean up an old strip mine pit. It had become an illegal dump. They hired 5 firefighters to set the rubbish on fire. It was a common practice. Burn the trash, bury the ash. Everyone had done it for years. But the firefighters didn't know that the pit was actually an exposed vein of coal. The open fire ignited the coal seam, and the flame went home, deep into the earth, into the labyrinth of mines that ran for miles beneath the town. For years, people tried to put it out. They dug trenches. They poured water. They pumped slurry mixed with cement. Nothing worked. The fire had burrowed too deep. The fire grew. It spread underground, migrating through tunnels and cracks in the rock. By the 1970s, residents began noticing something strange. The ground temperature started rising. In some places, the earth was too hot to touch. Carbon monoxide and other toxic gases began seeping into basements, into homes, into schools. People got sick. Headaches. Nosebleeds. The town doctor didn't know what to tell them. Nobody had ever seen anything like this. In 1981, a gas station attendant named John Coddington did a routine check. He dropped a dipstick into one of his underground tanks to see the fuel level. When he pulled it out, the dipstick was smoking. It was hot enough to ignite gasoline vapors. The tank was 172 degrees Fahrenheit. If the vapors had ignited, the explosion would have leveled the entire block. Then came the sinkholes. The ground literally opened up. In one backyard, a hole appeared that was 4 feet wide and 50 feet deep. Steam and sulfur rose from it like a gateway to hell. A 12-year-old boy named Todd Domboski was walking with his cousin when the ground collapsed beneath him. He fell into a hole spewing steam, 150 degrees deep. His cousin pulled him out just in time. The incident made national news. Television crews arrived. Reporters stood on cracked highways and talked about the ghost town that was still alive. Centralia had become an environmental horror story. The government stepped in. They conducted studies. They drilled test holes. They mapped the fire. The conclusion was devastating. The fire was spreading faster than anyone predicted. It was unstoppable. Underground monitoring showed the blaze had spread over 300 acres. The state of Pennsylvania proposed relocating all the residents. They offered to buy their homes for market value. It was the death sentence for the town. But the residents were divided. Some wanted to leave the hellish ground. Many, especially the elderly, refused to give up the homes they were born in. Families that had lived there for 5 generations did not want to leave. A legal battle lasted for years. Residents sued the state. The state condemned houses. People argued in court, in town meetings, in the local diner. Friends stopped speaking to each other. In 1992, Pennsylvania declared the town inimical to public health and safety. They condemned the entire borough. In 1996, the U.S. Postal Service revoked Centralia's zip code, 17927. The town no longer existed on paper. Today, only a handful of residents remain, living out their days on legally contested land, the last echoes of a lost generation. The disaster created one of the most famous urban exploration sites in the world, the Graffiti Highway, a stretch of Route 61 that was abandoned and rerouted around the fire zone. For years, artists used it as a canvas. Tags, murals, memorials, a living monument to the town's death. Tourists came from all over the world to walk on the cracked, steaming asphalt. But in 2020, the coal company that owns the land buried the road under 40 feet of dirt to stop the trespassers, to stop the memories. While the town is dead, the fire is alive and well. Centralia is part of a network of hundreds of underground coal fires burning across the world. In India, the Jharia coal field has been burning for over a century, displacing hundreds of thousands of people. In China, Australia, Indonesia, the problem is global, and it's getting worse. Coal fires are a massive contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. They release mercury, carbon dioxide, and other toxins into the air, but they are nearly impossible to extinguish. Scientists estimate Centralia has enough coal to burn for another 250 years. That is not a typo. 250 years. The fire will outlive everyone reading this. It will outlive our children's children. What is Centralia today? It is not a town. It is a monument to nature's power and a warning about human intervention. The streets are empty. The signs are gone. Only a few houses remain, scattered like tombstones in the hills. The cemetery still stands. The dead have not left. Visitors say you can still smell the sulfur. You can see steam rising from cracks in the ground on cold mornings. You can feel the heat if you stand in the wrong place. It is quiet, eerily quiet. The birds don't sing over the vents. The ground is hollow. The town is gone, but the fire stays. Centralia reminds us that not all places die by explosion. Some die by suffocation. Slowly, subtly, 1 degree at a time. What other towns are burning beneath our feet without us knowing? How many other places are dying this way right now? If you want to uncover more forgotten places and the stories they left behind, subscribe to Echoes of the Lost. Turn on the notification bell. And don't forget to listen to what history left buried. In the next video, we will visit a city that was swallowed by the sea. A place where the streets still exist underwater, and the ghosts still walk at low tide. This was Centralia, the town that wouldn't stop burning, the fire that refused to die, and the people who stayed until the end. Thanks for listening.